start this episode. This is our new weekly breakdown/review of the Halo TV series. So we will be spoiling heavily. So if you have not started Halo, I would recommend turning this off immediately. We're doing episode 1 right now, but this will be at the beginning of every episode. So obviously, as episodes go on, just pay attention to which episode it is. And if you haven't watched that, then I would recommend turning this off, because we'll be breaking down each episode and reviewing it, and also speaking about the Halo games. So if you are wanting to play the Halo stories or the Halo campaign and care about the stories, I'd recommend not watching or listening to these either. So without further ado, we'll get into the episode here. Welcome to the current backloggers for another episode of the Halo Show. My name is KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cal. You ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. Episode 2.
Yep, this one's titled Sword, which is not a good name for an episode. I know why they did it, but...
Yeah, I, for some reason, read Blade instead of Sword. So I thought Blade sounded cooler than Sword. And then I looked and I was like, oh, it was Sword. Because in my notes, I had Blade. And I guess my brain just filtered it.
Yeah.
And was like, Blade sounds better than Sword. And then I actually looked and I was like, oh, it's titled Sword.
Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't mean you have to make the name this, but it does make sense with the episode, but still not a great title.
Yeah.
This episode is 46 minutes, so a little shorter than the last one. But if you want to get into it here, I'm ready.
Yeah, so for some reason, I don't know if it's just this show, but they like to start these intros really weird. Because they did it last episode, too, where Master Chief is just on a table. In this one, we're with Dr. Halsey, and she's just chilling in this room.
First time we see her, too. We didn't see her all of episode 1.
Yeah, and I don't... the clone thing, I'm going to have to go back and look into because I don't remember it that much. But what happened... Didn't she escape, though? Or did they capture her at the end of season 1?
That's why I couldn't remember with the clone. If they figure out about the clone and caught, I think that's what happened. I just didn't want to say it. I think they figure out about the clone and caught her, but I just couldn't remember if maybe they think they have her and that is a clone.
Yeah.
Because so many shows and movies have done that. But yeah, I think they did figure out about the clone and captured her.
Okay. I need to go back and then I'll get my facts straight. But something like that happens. And so she's just in this room. We see her for the first time in this season. And there's a girl in the room also. And the girl brings her tea. And she has like a checkerboard, but they're not playing checkers. They're playing the game that's always on the back of checkerboards, I think. I don't remember what it's called because I never played it.
Backgammon?
Yeah, that one.
I used to play when I was a kid. I think it's backgammon.
Yeah, I think that's how the board is set up. And Halsey's asking the girl, like, what happens when you leave here? Because clearly something's, like, not correct with this room. And she kind of just tells Halsey about this guy, like, that's outside the room. And Halsey's like, what's his name? And then the girl just dies?
Yeah, starts bleeding out of her nose, and then she just falls straight on the table.
Yeah, and... yeah, she's dead. And that's pretty much that scene.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy there. I don't know if I put where the intro is. Okay, it's later. I did. Because I feel like the intro is usually important. So then we're back to Silver Team, because I think it cuts. And Kai and Riz are talking about training, and... I think Riz, did she get like plasmid on the arm last season?
That sounds right.
Because
I think so.
it looks bad.
Yeah.
We see it. I don't think we see it here, but she's clearly like struggling to be as physically fit as the other Spartans. And Kai is like telling her like, hey, it takes time to heal, and tells her that she's a Spartan and that they are at war. And Kai tells her to put her pellet back in, which I thought was interesting. Is it? I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't feel as much pain with the pellet, or I think that maybe Kai says that like you wouldn't feel the pain as much if you put the thing
Don't
back
remember
in.
what she says, but yeah, I think it's probably either for the pain or a mind trick.
Yeah, because like also with the pellet being out, they think more clearly. Like it's not like you don't have like emotions, I guess, with the pellet, and your like pain doesn't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be why, and then also like mindset too. She could feel really discouraged without the pellet, and maybe with the pellet it would change that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's struggling quite a bit, and we see that a lot in this episode when they're training. Like she's not the same as the other Spartans.
No.
So then this, I think it just transitions, or maybe Chief walks in, but Kai talks to Master Chief and says that she misses Halsey because it's like they don't trust them. So Halsey trusted them for like Halsey kept secrets, but you could tell like she trusted Silver Team. And Chief asks Kai if she thinks like if there's something wrong with him. And John says he saw the blessed one, and well, he says McKee, but the blessed one.
Yeah.
All hail the blessed one. And Kai says like she's dead. I shot her, which we all remember. Kai shot her. No hesitation. She just bang. She should be dead.
If only she banged her.
Nice. Missed opportunity. Let's see. So John says he saw the blessed one. Kai's like, nah, she's dead. And then Cobalt team is on standby, and John wants to know who told him to change their deployment status. Okay, this is the...
Yeah, I was looking at my notes, and I have dude change the assignments, and I was like, I know I put this, but once you started talking about that, I pictured those things together and mixed it. I ruined the last episode is what I'm getting at if you haven't watched episode 1 yet.
Yeah, so there's this dude and this big board of just mission assignments, and he's just hand changing it. And John's like, who told you to change that? And it was really funny the way he was yelling at him, because this guy clearly has no idea what's going on. He's just like, I don't know, they just tell me to do it. And John's like mad at him.
Yeah, and it's just wild, and something that's fucking like 500 years away, and there's so much futuristic stuff all around them that they have man hand changing these things. Like I said, I won't lie, I said last episode, our friend Dave pointed out, I didn't even process it, but as soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, what is going on?
Like, why? You don't need someone to do that. You have advanced technology, and you're just like, let's hand change it.
We're talking about cutting corners. You could have saving money so you could have more action. You could cut corners by not paying another actor and just putting up fucking a little bit of CG up there.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. And then we get the intro.
Yep.
So, honestly, not a lot happened in the intro besides we know Halsey is somewhere.
And don't really know what's going on with it at that point.
Yeah. The rest of it was just... Like, I understand the Riz thing because she's a part of Silver Team, and if one of them is, like, not up to standard, could hurt them on a mission. And that's pretty much it. And we know Cobalt is on standby.
Yeah.
So that was the intro.
Yeah, I don't have anything besides that because, I didn't feel like a whole lot happened. Mainly the Halsey stuff.
Yeah, Halsey was probably the most important out of all those scenes, and then the Riz stuff, you could kind of argue it's important. The standby stuff is important as well because it's like, why? Because obviously John was questioning it in the last episode. So after the intro, nice cool Halo music, we're all like, yeah, this is cool. Then we get back to our favorite part of the show, Kwan Ha. And okay, she has this thing in her ear, and she's kind of just messing with it, like just, she has like this, it's like pointing in her ear, and she's messing with it, and this guy just is like, she belongs to him. He just says that to her. And I was like, okay, why do you want Kwan Ha is the real question. And then Kwan just starts running from this guy. and they start to chase her. So we get a chase scene. She hits one guy with, I think it's a bowl or a cup or something.
Yeah,
like,
some random object.
Smashes him on the head. And then she's running from the other one. She climbs. I didn't know it was a disposal, but they say it's a disposal, so I'm guessing garbage disposal or like to the sewer or something. And she lands on these weird like rubber things when she falls down the chute. And I guess she has a tracking device on her because she gets rid of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about when she gets rid of it, but yeah, I didn't really know. Don't know where that was.
I just guessed a tracking device is what.
No, that's what it seems like, but yeah, I don't know where it came from.
And then they tell Quan that Soren is not coming back. So he's not coming back for her. I mean, who would? But
yeah, because in the first episode we saw her in the cave, as we mentioned, and she's with his kid, which I don't think we said. So.
Oh yeah,
because he's wearing the Master Chief helmet, which is also a little weird to have.
Yeah, he just had the helmet. So Soren's not coming back, is what they say to her, and she just starts killing them. One guy tackles her, and then she takes the tracking device thing and just stabs his head.
Yeah, it's a little out of nowhere. I was gonna say first time I was like, yeah, but I don't think I could say it for her. But the first time I was like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
a little unnecessary, maybe, kind of out of nowhere. But
yeah, she just picks it up and just stabs him, and I was like, all right. And she kills a few of them. Like she's been training these last 6 months apparently because she can actually fight, which is weird. It's really odd to see this character being able to fight.
Yeah, and
I'm kind of scared they're gonna try to make her really badass and.
Yeah, the next Spartan or some bullshit.
Yeah, like the other hero of the story besides Master Chief.
I'll tell you where I bail out of this show. And it's not even because I can't kill the Master Chief off. I don't think you should do that unless the game does it. But even if they're going to do it in the show, if they do that and she's the savior or she wants to replace Master Chief, that's where I'm out of there.
Oh, I'm out. Yeah, we will not do a podcast if Master Chief dies and Quan Ha replaces. That's over.
I don't think that's going to happen. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, that's the line there. Like, they can do whatever else they want with her character. If she replaces Master Chief, I'm out. But that's the line they can't cross.
Yeah.
Like, anything else, that's fine. Just no killing Master Chief and no replacement. I feel like that would make the entire world just combust. You can't do that to Halo. Like, Master Chief is the most important part. I think... if she is a hero or however like they want to place it, if she dies, then that's the character that should die.
Yeah.
And even if it's heroic, like, cool, like, that's fine. No replacing our favorite Spartan.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. Or any of the other Spartans. They can die too. They can make it sad.
Yeah.
I'm a little attached to some of them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So so she just stabs him, and that's that scene. And we get back to Riz training with this random guy who maybe used to be a Spartan based on dialogue. And he's trying to help her, like, I'm assuming like physical therapy, something like that. And they show her arm and it looks bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
like, it's ugly.
Kind of looks like extreme branding or something, if you've ever seen that done on somebody.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she got shot last season or burned, or it was in the final episode though, and I remember because they
Plasma burn sounds right to me, but I might be. You might have said that, and I'm like, yeah, that's correct.
Could have been like a grenade went off and it like hit her on her arm. I know something happened because I remember them like getting her on the ship and like leaving.
I feel like now you said that, I feel like it's a mixture of plasma grenade because they stick to you and then plasma blows up. I feel like that was what happened.
Maybe, yeah, that sounds right. But it's her entire arm is just it's done. And he kind of tries to convince her during this conversation that there's more things out there than just war. Because as a Spartan, like, you're bred for combat, and that's kind of all you know. But now, like, physically, she's like not the same. So he's just pointing out that, hey, maybe there's something else that you can do. Which makes sense because once we get into their training in this episode, she's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Do you know who that guy is? Like, do they? He
Did
was
they
not
say-
in season 1.
As I said, did they say a name? Because I don't
think so.
Yeah,
They
I remember
looked
standing
alike.
out. Yeah.
And I think he does say that he was in the Spartan program at one point, or I could have misheard that, but I thought there's another point where they're talking in the episode, and I thought he said that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. So I
Maybe
remember
not.
this guy, but I don't remember that dialogue. I mean,
Yeah, I think I wrote it down later, but we'll see if I did. So then after this, John goes to talk to Ackerson again, our favorite military commander, who sucks. And John asked him, like, what happened to Cobalt, because John saw the thing. Like, he was like, they're on standby. Like, why are you lying to me? And Ackerson is basically like, your story from Sanctuary wasn't true. And John's like, what? And then Ackerson is like, yeah, Perez didn't confirm your story. And John's like, she's lying. Which, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Ackerson, I know he says something else before this, but he's like, Master Chief is just a guy in a suit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Ackerson is like, again, you didn't see nothing.
Just yeah.
You're delusional. Perez didn't even confirm your story. And it kind of goes from there. There's some tiny, like, dialogue that I didn't put.
Yeah, I didn't have anything like that.
But yeah, so that scene happens, and then we go back to rubble, I think, or a ship or something with Soren's wife, and Soren's crew just kind of are like, he's gone, he's missing, and she's in denial, like she's like, no,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
denial that he's dead, I think, because I think they say that he's dead. She's just like, no, he's not, which, I mean, makes sense. Like, you wouldn't want to admit that your husband has died, especially after their last interaction.
Yeah.
That was just arguing. So she's in denial about that. And then we're back to Kwan Ha, and she's just with Soren's kid. And so she was running earlier in the episode. Now she's just with his kid. I'm assuming back in the cave.
Seems like it, yeah.
So she tells him there's more in this conversation, but she basically just tells Soren's kid, whose name is Kessler, is his kid's name, and she's just like, he's not coming back, and he just kind of runs away.
I think this is where they show the face again, correct? Whatever the demonic symbol.
Yeah,
thing is.
in the cave. Which, see, I thought that. So is Kwan Ha on rubble? Is that
I mean, I was gonna say it seems like it, but yeah, because the kid's there, so
that would make sense. See, that makes more sense, because I was thinking she was still on the planet that she was on in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, how the heck did his kid get there?
Yeah.
If she's on rubble, that makes way more sense.
I still can't tell you why she's on rubble or how she got there, but yeah, she is there.
And, like, what is the point of
Bingo.
all of this
Yeah.
that's happening? Because I'm still like, okay. Like, I get, okay, Soren's missing, but what else? Like, how's it fit? So that scene's there. Just, it's there. And then Riz is training. Well, all of Silver Team is training. And looks like they're just, like, cliff jumping. Or, like, jumping from on, and there's, like, a waterfall. And they're, Riz is, like, jumping, climbing it, I would say. And Chief just shoots her.
Yeah, this is, I put it on here, the 20-minute mark of the episode, because this is the first time we see him in helmets since, what was it, I said the last episode, since the
Like
15-minute mark of episode 1. So quite the distance there without helmets. Something I did forget to say last episode when I was talking about how Pablo Schreiber said that he regrets the sex scene. And, well, he even said that it shouldn't be there last season, but he didn't have control over it. But what he did say, and why I kind of connected to the helmet thing, he said he fully supports the helmet decision, and it's key to the show, and that it'll continue. So, guess at least they're honest, but I don't think it makes it a good thing.
Yeah, the only way I see the helmet thing, like, it's just putting a face to Master Chief.
Yeah,
and that's about it. So, like, you don't need his face to be connected to him, because the Mandalorian does the same thing where the helmet never comes off, and, like, we care about the Mandalorian, which, weird comparison. Well, not weird, but...
Well, no, I was gonna say that, but kind of in a different way. That's exactly what they say over and over, is that you have no connection to a character without that. But I think they're forgetting the games that's based off of, that people have had connection for more than 2 decades, and one of their favorite characters is a character we never see his face.
Yeah.
And you could say that's a game, but Darth Vader, you don't see his face till the very end, and he's one of people's favorite characters, and I don't think people care if they saw his face or not.
No.
And as much as I love Mandalorian, I was going to say that, but actually in a different way. I feel like Mandalorian kind of ruined it for this show. I feel like you didn't have to see his face, but they did it. I get it made him a little more sense in that show story-wise. But I feel like they saw that and they're like, oh, you do need to show a face or people won't like it. Even though people were liking The Mandalorian without that, that's not why they started liking it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're like, we got to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting that they went this route.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm okay with seeing his face because, like, he doesn't... Not to compare... I mean, you can compare the shows. They're both sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Mandalorian, he, like, can't. Like, no one's allowed to see his
Yeah.
face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can, like, if he's by himself. This, I understand showing his face sometimes because he is allowed to take off. And, like, he has to eat and stuff like that. So, him taking it off makes sense. But it's, like, they don't want it on at all.
No.
Like, it's just combat he has his suit on. And that's...
Sometimes not even that. He has combat in the black suit a good amount in the first season.
Yeah, so it's just weird. And we're just going to keep it that way, apparently. So, because every time the Spartans are in full gear, they look so freaking cool.
Oh, yeah, it's badass.
And it's probably like 10% of the show.
Mm-hmm. And I talked about how they nailed the Master Chief's armor. All the other armor looks good as well. I mean, you can't compare them 1-to-1, but as far as generic Spartan armor that you see in the games, it looks fantastic. I know I kind of sidetracked us there, but yeah, Master Chief shot her. I kind of assumed this is like a practice scenario or something, which it was, but I didn't think that they could just use a straight up real bullet. I thought maybe there's like blanks or something, or like a way they have practice without shooting somebody.
Yeah,
But
like I was just like, did he just shoot her? And it was an actual bullet, right? Like, it just didn't penetrate the armor. Like,
yeah, that's what it seemed like. Yeah.
Okay. And then Vanek is just over here like, game over. And then he asked Riz what it's like losing because he's never lost. So he's just kind of rubbing it in her face. And clearly we know she has physical limitations based off of we saw her arm that looked awful. So Chief just is like, are you good? And she's like, yes. And then Kai is like concerned. She's like, hey, we can't like push her. And Chief is just like, I don't care. Go. Like, are you good? So Riz kind of starts firing her gun at Chief and Kai, and then they continue training. And she tries to make like this jump between ledges and tries to pull herself up. Like, she couldn't make the jump, first of all, and then when she was using her arm, she couldn't pull herself up, and she just falls and lands straight on her back. Most people would be dead from this fall, but she is a Spartan, so and then Vanek kind of goes over to her, and Chief just tells her to get up and not quit. And then Riz tells Chief, like, hey, I can't. And Kai wants Chief to let Riz rest, and then Chief tells them to run the training course again.
Yeah. I'm glad you talked about her climbing the mountain, because that reminded me of something in episode 1 that was super badass that we kind of glossed over. When Master Chief's running that beach-looking area and then scaling up to the mountain,
Yeah.
he starts using that grappling hook, and that's really cool visually, but also there's not a grappling hook till Infinite, so it's cool to see them take something from the newest game like that
And add it,
and,
yeah.
directly into there. Yeah, does anything else happen after this scene? Because I put they didn't even make it to the 24-minute mark before they took their helmets off again. I think that was kind of the end of that,
Yeah,
right?
that was
Yeah.
it. It was just their training course and back to no helmets. I liked this scene.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like, it was cool. I like seeing them train. Chief's kind of an asshole. He clearly knows that, like, her arm is messed up, and he's just like, don't quit.
Yeah, that's why, like I said, I assumed it was some kind of blank bullet or like a practice round or something. Because people said they hear, did he shoot her? And they're like, yeah, but I'm sure it was like some kind of prosthetic bullet or something that is not a real bullet, but it appeared he just straight up shot her.
Yeah, like, he did not care. He was just like, bang.
Uh-huh.
So that happens, and then we're just back to Halsey, and they're playing the game again. And Halsey is asking this girl about the man who sent her here, and Halsey tells the girl that she's dying, like the girl is dying, and the girl is scared, and then keeps pressing for the name of the dude, which is Ackerson, is what I gathered from just context clues. And then the girl just dies again. And then Halsey is just confused. And yeah, I mean, when she dies, she just face plants, just dies. So we're back to that, and as an audience, we're like, okay, what's happening here? So then I didn't write a lot of details for this next scene. It was just Riz and that other guy talking again. But I'm pretty sure that's, and I need to go back and actually watch it, because I think he says he was in the Spartan program.
I must miss
and
it.
that's
if he
how
did.
they know each other. But I didn't write the details of their conversation, so I'll have to go back and actually see who that guy is.
Yeah, I definitely could have missed that. So let us know next week if you do that.
Yeah, I'll go back and watch the scene just to make sure, because I only watched it once. Usually I watch it twice.
That's why I still did it. And that's why I did it. I still didn't remember. If my help, I took like detailed notes like normal, but since I took general ones, might not have done that.
Yeah, I'll go back and look at it. So that scene happens. Nothing big. They're just talking again. Because Riz is obviously going through it with this arm situation, and Master Chief doesn't care, and Vanek is just like, what's it like to lose? And Kai and this guy seem like the only people that are like, take it easy.
Yeah.
And then, so Ackerson is over here worried about John. He's talking to Kai during the scene. And he's like telling Kai that she should help him to help John, which Ackerson's just messing with all of them at this point.
Definitely.
He's manipulating the situation. He asked if she's witnessed any odd behavior where he could be a threat to his team, and asked if she's like concerned about John's mental state. And I was wondering if she was gonna say yes, just because how she's been like questioning him, like even during the training thing, where he was kind of being extra tough, and she was like, "Hey, like let her chill." But she's like, "No, he's the best we've got," and like defends him. Which I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know what they were doing with Kai, like if they were gonna like turn her towards like Ackerson's side. But I'm glad that she was like, "Nah, he's the best."
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So I'm glad that she had Master Chief's back, because I would have been pretty mad if she was like.
I was thinking the same thing.
So I thought that was a good scene. And then next we have John wandering around the city again, because he does that quite a bit in the first 2 episodes, and he goes to talk to Perez about why she didn't tell Ackerson the truth, which makes sense. Like, I'd be mad. I'd be like, "You think I'm crazy? Like, I saved you."
Yeah.
Like, not only did they like see the same thing, he definitely kept her alive, because she would have died so fast if he was not there, like the rest of her squad that got wrecked pretty quickly. So then it jumps. It does a weird jumping thing where it goes to Riz.
Before you get there, there's just one thing. It's more of a silly thing, but when John was at Perez's house or whatever that was, it appeared to be her whole family there.
Oh, I have that. It's later.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He like meets her initially, and then they do. There's one scene in between, and then
I got you. You're
next.
right.
So I'm about to actually talk about that after this one. it's basically just Riz getting therapy done on her arm. And they show the arm and how bad it looks again. And he's just kind of like stretching it out. It looks like the physical therapist. And that's pretty much it for that scene.
No, I remember once you said that.
Yeah. It's important just to note because like eventually she will be in combat. So if she's injured and not like I think she'll be the first one to die. That's my prediction. She might not, but
I'd be cool with that. Not even just because she's my least favorite, but it'd be cool to see how they handle that. Definitely not Chief, but even the ones I like more, it'd be cool to see how they handle any of those. But I have a feeling they'll never kill off any of those 4, which I think would make it more interesting. That's why I'd be okay with it even if I like them, to see how they do it. But I feel like they're just going to always have those be the 4.
Yeah. I could definitely... Like, do you think in the show they'll keep all 4 of them?
That's what I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that, but I could also see where we slowly just see them die since it's Master Chief in the end.
It would, in Fall of Reach, or at least in Halo Reach, well, both of them, but in Halo Reach more specifically, that's what it is, your whole team. It's just, all of them are dying. It's just a matter of when they die.
Yeah.
So they all die eventually, but I don't think the show's obviously going to do that for sure.
I think it would be super tragic if they did.
Yeah.
I'd kind of enjoy it. But
yeah.
I'm okay with the other route too. But I could definitely see where it's like, because they're showing her obviously being weaker than the others on purpose, I think. And if they invade Reach, she's going to have to fight. So
my thing on that, I feel like they're doing that to show that she's down and out and then she's going to be a hero. But like I said, it would be interesting to see how they handle it. I just feel like these seem to be the 4 main characters throughout the whole series, even more than Halsey and like some of these way more important characters.
Yeah.
That I feel like they just won't let them die.
I could see that too. I'm okay with any route.
Yeah.
Go with the Silver Team. If they just keep Silver Team the whole show, that's fine with me. I think they're all badass, so a little annoying than others, but when they're in their armor, I don't really care what their personality is. They're just cool and killing aliens, so she gets physical therapy, and then we get Master Chief just having dinner with Perez's family. And there's like this odd praying scene that happens, and John looks really annoyed while they're praying. He's like, I just came here for information. I didn't want dinner. So he's kind of remembering more from what happened on Sanctuary, and everyone else is questioning if John is Perez's boyfriend. And they realize he's a Spartan and get pretty excited about it. And then Perez tells Master Chief about like the comms going down on Sanctuary, and she said she heard something in the interference and that they weren't alone like on the planet, and that she could feel it also, and but they didn't see anything, and now all her squad is dead, and she doesn't understand why they gave her a medal. And then she asks if she got one for surviving, and Chief says something to her. I didn't type correctly, so I'm gonna try and decipher
I've done that too many
what
times.
I actually said, because words are a little jumbled. He says no, something about the medal, and that she's just gonna think about her squad dying every day. I don't remember the line in between that, but it was pretty upfront and blunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, or maybe she said she would think about her squad dying every day. Someone said that.
Yeah.
But she doesn't even know why she got the medal. She just got it. Which that was just a cover-up for what Ackerson was doing behind the scenes.
Did you have anything else from this scene?
No.
I just have one silly thing. I'm assuming it's her brother. Very cringily asked. I think it's intentional this time. But I asked Master Chief what's his high score in Spartan attack. Which, that is a little cringy, but at the same time, I mean, in real life, we have countless games about the actual military, so it's realistic that they would have that. It just sounds really corny to hear it. But then I think the really lame line that Master Chief delivers is, he says, I don't keep score. And I was like, what? Why did you do that? But that was all I had there.
Another wonderful John moment.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that scene happens, and it's so weird because like they'll like make these scenes super serious and then throw in a line like that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and that's probably why I don't list them because I just like I'm just like okay that happened, and I list the stuff that was important from the scenes because it's like this is so ridiculous sometimes. Like it's just
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
I do it partly for entertainment, but like I said, more so I think the people that hate on the show go way too far with the hate of the corniness and the things they don't like, that they don't even know what's actually the good parts about the show because they literally don't see it. They just see what people say or see the memes.
Yeah.
But at the same hand, I feel like I'm more positive about it and talk about the good aspects. That if I don't address some of this craziness, then it just sounds like the show's spotless.
Yeah, for sure. So next scene, and we're getting close to the end of the episode, which is crazy because I feel like nothing has happened.
Bingo.
So Halsey is talking to Ackerson finally, and she asks about Cortana and John, and then Ackerson wants to introduce her to someone, and it's the girl that has died twice in this episode already, named Julia, and I think Halsey tells like a story about like something from her childhood with a tree. And it's the
Sounds
same
right.
tree that's in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and like she's confused how he would know that, like about the tree and why it would be there. And I think the tree catches on fire as Ackerson is walking out of like this, and it looks like a simulation like room type thing.
Yeah, definitely.
There's more in this scene. I didn't list like every dialogue point, but basically they talk, and then she asked him like, "How do you know about this tree thing?" And then he kind of walks out.
Is there another scene, or is this where the girl comes in again, the redhead?
She was in this scene. Does she come back?
I think this might have. I don't think so, but I just didn't want to jump ahead like I did last thing.
Yeah, because he introduces her to Halsey.
Yeah,
and Halsey already knows who she is.
And well, I think that's the kind of funny part. I think he says we have another one for you, and she says, "Oh, great," or something. I feel like that's when you can see it clicks in her head, like, "Oh, I already know what is going before." She saw the girl. She's like, "Okay, now I get that what's happening here."
Yeah,
I feel like is what you're thinking clicked in her head.
Okay, yeah. And she's like trapped inside this.
Yeah.
So she's realizing it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ackerson, after he walks out, he walks into the room. A room. I don't know why I said the room. But it's a room. I don't think we might have seen this room before, but it has the Halo artifact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just there. It's the they found 2 in season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one. Are they put together?
No, because
No.
later in the episode we see a different one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like a smaller piece. So he walks into that room, and then it starts to jump. They do this all the time at the end of episodes in this show, where they jump between plot points that basically connect. So then John is trying to track Cobalt team's movements and other Spartan teams, which there's multiple Spartan teams is what I'm assuming, because they're not all dead.
I was going to say we haven't seen them, but yeah, you would think in theory there should be.
There should be more than the Silver team. And then Ackerson has, this is like the worst part of this episode, but also the most interesting, has Cortana, and what the hell happened to Cortana?
What are your thoughts? Because I had not mixed feelings. Well, I do have a little mixed feelings, but kind of changed feelings.
So, season 1, when we saw Cortana and the voice, I was like, this is cool. Like, I felt comfortable. The voice was the same, I think, like similar. The look was like, what happened? So I don't feel good about it.
That's where I have somewhat mixed feelings, but my opinion has also changed when I thought about it and looked stuff up. It is the exact same voice actress, Jen Taylor, which is a real voice actress of Cortana, which I think was key and should have been done with Chief, even if you want a different guy in the suit. I think Pablo Schreiber, I actually really like him as an actor, and I think he does a cool voice, but you can't compete with the Master Chief.
No.
Steve Downes, a real actor, real voice actor, I should say. But yeah, Jen Taylor is still reprising her role. Obviously the character model of Cortana is what completely changed.
Yep.
Christina Beddington, I guess, is the model of Cortana now. Jen Taylor was the physical model of Cortana in season 1, which I didn't know that. They modeled her after her, or maybe do like motion capture or something.
Yeah.
So they switched the actress, and I do think that's a very weird, just total different, to jump to a totally different style look. I think that's jarring, especially if you watch this like in back-to-back seasons, especially for somebody who's just like casually watching it. Like, wait, this is that AI thing? What happened?
Yeah.
But I do remember saying that I think they nailed the voice because they stood true to what the voice should be. And I didn't hate the character model. It seemed more human in the show in season 1. But I definitely thought it was weird to not be like blue or purple and to seem more like AI than a human. So even though I have mixed feelings about them totally changing it, I feel like that is closer to what it should be. And I feel like where my opinion changed a little bit was I feel like it was cool to see the color change. I think that's closer to what it should be. I was like, it's weird they didn't just keep Jen Taylor's face and just change the color.
Yeah.
But then I thought about Halo. I was like, I feel like Cortana never really looks the same. Just the color is either blue or purple, but she's always changed. And part of that is obviously graphics get better, character models, but the Master Chief generally looks the same, just better visual, like better resolution. Yeah. She is actually changing not just with resolution throughout every game. If you look, they're kind of drastically different. The main consistency is that she looks like AI and not a human, and either blue or purple, bluish purple, whatever way you want to go with it. And the more I looked at each model, the more I was like, this kind of looks more like the one that we're seeing right now. Okay. So that's where I started to change a bit. I was like, well, I guess hard to argue that then.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still personally, I'm not saying you can't argue that. Everybody has a personal opinion. Even if what I'm saying is accurate, that doesn't mean somebody can't be like, well, I still don't like it. I like the other one more. I'm just saying.
I think it's like it could grow on me because shows change things all the time. It was just like you have an image of something in your head and then it's completely different and you're like, what?
Yeah, it's definitely jarring. That's why I think people watch back to back, especially if you were casual, that would be very jarring. So I could see that.
Yeah. So that was the only thing. Like the voice was fine. Like it's the same. So that's good. I'll just have to get used to it is probably what it'll be. And I'll just be like, okay, this is just Cortana now and just go from there. But yeah, so Cortana looks really different from last season. And my first question was recast. So I'm glad that you had the details on that because I wasn't sure and didn't have time to do research on it yet.
I gotcha.
So like that was just my first question because shows do that all the time too, where someone has to leave, so they just recast, or movies do it too. But Ackerson, I think, asked her about an event, and she said there's a 97% probability, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. And Cortana's like, do you want me to run more simulations? And he's like, no, it won't be necessary. So what I'm assuming is there's a 97% chance of Reach getting glassed and destroyed. And that's a pretty serious thing. And Ackerson is just like, that's fine. It's like, I don't care anymore, basically. Like, yeah, Master Chief is right, and they're definitely planning to do something. And I have Cortana telling me the same thing, but we're just going to tell Chief that he's delusional, and then we're going to ignore it.
And the reason, we'll see if this show changes this too, but the reason Reach matters so much to humans is it's the closest planet to Earth.
Yep.
So
once they take that out, then Earth is fair game.
Yeah.
Which obviously Earth is important. It's our home world. So, once, like, I'm not sure if the Covenant's goal is to destroy Earth, but if you're trying to prevent that from happening, you would try to protect the closest thing to it.
Yeah.
And Ackerson is like, nah, it's cool. We'll just let him take it, pretty much. And so then we switch to John again, and there's 2 active missions. One is unknown, and I think the other one was, I don't remember what the other one was, like a recon mission or something. And basically they get in the Pelican with Silver Team, and they're going to, I don't know how to pronounce this, Vizgard, another planet, to get Cobalt.
That sounds like Vizgard or Vazgard. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. It's Viesgard. Vizgard.
Yeah.
Basically Asgard. It's like sister planet or something. And Kai, I don't remember what she asked, but she's like, what's the mission for? And Chief is like, the Covenant are on Reach. And then we're just like, holy crap. Like, I was like, oh, it got serious. And I'm assuming we're still on Reach when this scene happens.
Yeah.
And there's soldiers.
It says Reach there, so yeah,
okay.
Correct.
So there's soldiers standing there, and they start firing in this just dark room door thing. And they send some soldiers to move forward, and there's kind of like this pause, and all these soldiers are definitely freaking out. And then the energy sword starts, this elite with an energy sword just starts wrecking these troops, and the Blessed One is there, and they see a Halo artifact, and the episode ends.
Yeah. This scene was really awesome.
Best scene of the episode.
Yeah, I agree. Are you talking about because of the Blessed One? Is that why you're smiling? Or you're
that
being
and
sincere?
the Elite was
Okay.
actually cool too.
I was gonna say I was being serious for once, so I didn't know. And usually I'm ridiculous, so I didn't know if that's what you think I was saying.
The Blessed One also was improved the scene quite a bit.
Yeah, it was nice seeing her. We're probably not gonna see her naked again, which is sad, but also, like I said, objectively probably for the best.
Yeah.
She also had a different hairstyle. I don't know how I feel about yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
She's clearly changed from getting shot.
Yeah. But sorry, go ahead.
I'm still curious how she survived that. So maybe she's got maybe the Covenant just have really good technology and could just revive her.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's plenty of sci-fi excuses they can make for that. The prophets brought her back, or they have healing power or plenty of nonsense they can make up for that if they want.
Yeah.
Whether they do it well or not, we'll see. But yeah, I think this was definitely the best scene. This scene felt very Rogue One to me when Darth Vader is coming down the alley, and that's one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. I definitely don't think it's done as well as that, but it reminded me. It's almost like they tried to do that, but a Halo version.
Like the energy sword just turning on and just starting to wreck.
And you can see that they're defending for their lives, but you know that not any of them are going to.
They're all dead.
It's all for naught, yeah. I will say it's a little silly that the most important thing that they're trying to protect throughout this, like a season at this point, with like the second half of last season and this beginning, is protected by like 8 generic Marines and not a single Spartan or like a whole army of people. But it's a little silly, but we've also seen plenty of nonsense like that in countless movies and shows.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, I try and call it even. I feel like this is where people would pick the show apart and then watch a movie and show and not even blink an eye that just happened, but it's because it's easy to pick apart a show that has more failures.
Yeah.
So that was a little silly, but the scene overall was still amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, like, nothing the humans do makes sense. So, like, they're probably just like, they're going to invade anyway. Let's just throw these 8 generic guys to protect this and not Master Chief, and just pretend to Master Chief that none of this is actually happening. And he's like, what? Like, it's clearly in front of him. And they're just like, no, you're delusional. Like, I think that's so ridiculous. But
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think what John's going rogue is what we're seeing at the end of this episode. He's like, I don't care what Ackerson thinks. We're gonna go do stuff. Because I think Kai, I didn't say this, but Kai is like, "Are we clear for combat?" And John is like, "Yup." She's just like, "Okay." So he's just like, "We're taking it into our own hands." Obviously, 4 people is not gonna stop an invasion, but I think we could get some really cool episodes. Hopefully, next episode. But one thing, and we'll get into our rankings for this one. I'm just doing predictions for next episode. Based on how the series has gone, we're going to get a Quan Ha solo episode for episode 3.
How do you think episode 3 you're predicting?
Yeah.
God, I
because
hope not.
they're building up to this really cool like invasion thing, and then so far how the show has gone, this is the perfect spot for Quan Ha and Soren. Because they've done it so many times to us in the past. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they learned from that, and we're actually going to get more of like the Fall of Reach stuff. But sadly, I think they might do that to us.
Yeah. I hope you're wrong. I do think there'll be one of those episodes with her, but I get your reasoning, so I wouldn't be shocked this next week. I just feel like if you do that after showing some of these cool build-ups and then you just do that again, I feel like some people might start dropping off. Obviously, some people are always dropping off, but that might be a significant drop if you keep doing this, where you tease it and then not follow through with it.
Because at some point, like in this series, it has to be full-out war. And I think even like last season, we talked about it quite a bit, where it was like, okay, we're like building towards this stuff, and we got like a couple action scenes, and it was like basically skirmishes throughout. Eventually, it has to be like where the humans are getting wrecked by these aliens because they're so far advanced.
Yeah.
And we have to get like, it has to be a full-out like war type thing. And a lot of Master Chief fighting, and because that's what Halo is.
Yeah. And hopefully sooner than later, especially because I looked it up. I could have sworn I saw this. It is 8 episodes, not 9. It was 9 last season, if that's maybe what you were seeing. So it is 8 episodes this season, so even less time to work with.
We're already, a quarter of the way done with the season.
Yeah.
So you would think they're moving towards the Fall of Reach. Fast.
All the episode names are here. Do you want to know the last episode name or no?
Yeah.
Because I feel like unless they're just totally oblivious, they better do something with this, even if it's not this episode, setting up for the next season. If you don't want potential spoilers, it's just a guess. Tune out for like a minute or two. But the last episode is literally called Halo. So I feel like if you're not setting that up to maybe go into like mainline Halo and what we know, might be a poor decision to call it Halo.
Yeah. Because, like, there's a mission called Halo, right? In the first game? I'm thinking correctly. It's the first game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. The second level?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think it might be different than, Halo Reach and Halo 1, obviously, because Master Chief is the focus versus in Halo Reach it's not. But I'm hoping that this whole season isn't a build-up to Fall of Reach. I'm hoping we get it as the season goes, and then we kind of dip into the like Halo 1 plot line a little bit.
Yeah, I know they said from the beginning, and we've seen countless times now, that this is its own timeline and not the games.
Yeah.
But I don't think that couldn't mean that you eventually lead up to Halo and then tell it at least somewhat the same as Halo.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it being different, because if it was the same thing, then like I could play the game and get the same plot. So I'm okay with differences. But I think some things should stay the same.
Yeah.
Like generally. It doesn't have to be like scene for scene the same thing, but I'm hoping that it's Fall of Reach like in the next 2 episodes or 3, maybe 4, and then like the ending sprinkles into more full out war stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And like I want to see some of the other aliens a little bit more. Like can we get some grunts and brutes and the really giant guys that we saw once in
the hunters.
Yeah, those guys, because they're creepy.
Yeah, they did well with that at the end of last season. You started seeing all of them, not just the elites, but yeah, all we've gotten is elites. And Obviously, we've hyped it up. They're amazing, but
Oh yeah, they're
you need variety.
the elites have been awesome, and I understand why they're just showing them because it seems like they're doing like special missions, and like you would use your top soldiers to do that, kind of like how the humans use the Spartans.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for like every single troop to just wreck Reach.
Yeah.
To see that because I think it'd be really cool.
No, I'm with you.
So hopefully soon, and hopefully not a Quan Ha solo episode.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I kind of jumped, but I can give my ranking for this episode unless you had more to say.
The only thing I have to say, probably should talk about in the first episode. Did you see how well this is doing with critics, season 2?
No, I haven't looked at anything like that.
I don't actually care about reviews. I just think they're interesting, but I don't judge my opinion off of that. Kind of like people with memes and stuff. I feel like that's the inverse. Season 1, for the critics, had a 70% in Rotten Tomatoes. So it isn't actually terrible, especially if you hear how people talk about the show. You would think it would be like a 20.
Yeah.
The audience score is a 52, which makes more sense because, like I said, you hear how they talk about it. But still, that's not as bad as people make it out to be. The shocking part, though, Halo Season 2 by critics is 94% and 75% even for the audience, which is a massive jump for both those. And the critics already wasn't bad, so that's kind of fucking crazy. And I think shows through to the people that have such a narrow mindset that part of what we're talking about, like, that is not exactly what they want, so they tune out, which I somewhat get because obviously I have somewhat of that stance. But take it to that's the end goal, which if it is, that's okay. But then more the hardcore end of that is completely against it and only sees a negative.
Yeah.
So I think they don't see the broader audience that, even though we don't agree with these decisions, and I think obviously a wider audience does that maybe doesn't care about Halo, which I do think is key. I don't think that maybe a wider audience wouldn't also like more of a traditional Halo. I think they might if you gave them that. But I think it's pretty clear that the show is having a audience outside of Halo as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that have never seen anything Halo have just watched it as like a sci-fi show. And I think if you look at it like that it's pretty solid for sci-fi.
Yeah.
Since you went first.
Oh yeah, you lead the charge.
This might shock you a little bit. Maybe. I guess it depends what yours is, but a whole lot of nothing happened in this episode. So I didn't rank it very high.
I thought you were going to say you didn't rank it. That does shock me.
I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. And there was only like a couple scenes I was like, okay, that was good. The rest of it was just Quan Ha stuff was pointless. A lot of the scenes, like dialogue-wise, like some of them were like, okay, I understand why that's in here. And the end scene I loved. But other than that, it was just kind of a bunch of dialogue and random stuff happening.
This might shock you because I agree with almost everything you said. And as we talked about this episode, I've kind of said that as well. So I already had it on here, 5.0. So even...
Whoa.
Yeah. Which, like I said, for me, that's still, I think 5, that's like the bare minimum when it starts to get to that end. I still think 5 for me is okay.
Yeah.
Because I still think, even though it was boring, like I said, there wasn't a ton of moments that were terrible. I think a lot of improvements over the last season.
Yeah.
Had a couple cool moments, but yeah, just a whole lot of nothing. So it's hard to criticize it so much as far as negative, just criticize as far as potential, I think, is the issue with this.
Because, like, I see the potential, like, especially with, leading up to, the Covenant are on Reach. Like, that's a big deal. And I'm hoping next episode is better as far as, like, progressing the storyline. Because there's only so much, like, you can, like, build it up so much, but if you keep building it up, it's just, like, okay, what am I waiting for now?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at with the show. And I was at, like, with season 1, it was the same way. It was just all this build up, and then finally we got the action at the end. But I don't need all the build up anymore. Like, just let them invade Reach and let's let's move forward with it.
I'm with you. And I hope we get that. My worry is, he said they're on reach, and you're like, so I think it's about to go down. I hope so, and I could see that. But my worry is they got what they needed. I wouldn't be surprised they're gone from reach and they come back to reach for the season finale or something.
Oh, I really hope not. I hope that's not the case, but I could also see that happening. I think it's because I think when we did season the episode 1 we liked quite a bit from memory. Like we both rated it fairly high. It's a little our rankings are a little low for the first 2 episodes. Like I was really hyped for the premiere, and I think I got probably 2 moments that were like really awesome, and the rest was just kind of there.
Yeah, like I said, I think at least for me, I think we did both say this, but I know for me for sure, part of it is the excitement. It's not gone. I get so fucking excited for the next episode. I can't wait for the next one. But the excitement as far as never seen it before, I think that's gone now, which I think was there for the first season. I actually looked back, though. It's funny. Episode 1, I did 9, like we talked about last episode, as in the first season.
Yeah.
But episode 2, I did a 5. So,
okay.
Exactly the same as this one.
I think, I remember episode 2. I remember we talked about it a lot because we were like, it's just Grogu and the Mandalorian. Just Quan Ha is a bad version of Grogu.
Yeah, episode 3 can't be Quan Ha or high because I gave it an 8. So if that's a Quan Ha episode, then I need to be kicked off the show.
I think that was the middle of the season.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find. I know I think I gave the first episode like a 9 as well.
I gave episode 7 a 4. I'm feeling like that's probably the Quan Ha episode.
That was the Quan Ha episode. Okay. I think I gave that one a 4 also.
The lowest I gave of any episode.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't save all of them. For some reason, I have episode 7 saved, but I don't have the others. Like, I have a bunch of notes from other stuff, like podcasting-wise, but I don't have... Yeah, there's episode 7. Yeah, so I guess I just didn't save the other ones, which is
I gotcha.
kind of ridiculous that I didn't. But, I mean, I could obviously go back and listen to it and see what I thought. But from memory... I know episode 1 I liked quite a bit. Like I guess I could rewatch it and see if I think the same. And I know we were both really hyped about it, and there was like a scene in that first episode that felt like Halo.
Oh yeah,
and that's why. And so far there's been maybe one scene, and it was the elite scene in the first episode. That was really good, but overall it feels like the middle of season 1 again.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a better way of putting it. I said I feel like the hype is gone in some way, but I said I am just as excited for each episode. So maybe a better way of saying it is the excitement for the potential is dwindling.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like episode 1 last season, you're like, that was amazing, and there's some down moments, but if they already did that, man, imagine what they're going to do. So I feel like you can only do that so many times. 4 pillars, like I have a feeling what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because like you kind of get a feel for the show as you watch it, and that's why I'm like, next episode will probably be like some weird filler Quan Ha episode based on what they've done in the past. I'm hoping that's not what it is. And also like with these shorter shows, because shows in the past used to be like 22 episodes a season, and now we're kind of in this phase of television where it's like 6 to 8, sometimes it's 10 or 13, but when they're shorter, I feel like you can't waste as much time before like people are like annoyed because it's like, I wasted my time on that episode. Where in the past, like you would get these 22 episode shows and there would be like a random filler, but it wasn't as annoying because there's so much content. But now it's like it's 8 episodes, so like need to move this along a little bit.
No, I agree.
Quicker than what they're doing. And there should be more action in the show. Because like you said, there shouldn't always be action because that would be dumb. It would get annoying. But there should definitely be more than what there is. No, and that's my biggest criticism because I'm like, are they even at war with the Covenant? Because we see them like 10 minutes every 3 episodes. And it's getting a little annoying at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, hopefully this episode is just straight murder, Covenant killing random Marines, and the Spartans come in and save the day.
Down with that.
But I think they're going to another planet, so they're not even going to Reach. Wherever Cobalt is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because she was like, what's the mission? And he was like, Covenant on Reach, so why are you going to another planet?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious what that's going to look like. So hopefully we just jump straight into that and we actually get a mission.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
With action, hopefully.
That'd be refreshing.
Maybe just a Covenant-ruled world. We're just all Covenant.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
You. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's episode 2 is there. Maybe someone out there loved episode 2. You can let us know. Give your high rankings.
Yeah, give us the high rankings in the comments, whether you loved, hated, agreed. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Excited about the Blessed one? Let us know. I feel like we hype up the Blessed one on this podcast, but there's reasons.
Yeah, and I feel like other people do, but they just aren't.
Don't
have enough courage to. Yeah, I was gonna say have enough courage to say it, but yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but I'm glad she's back.
I'm with you.
That was the best part of the episode, and the elite.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's all my thoughts.
All right. Well, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you for episode 3.
Yeah.